theme of this conference is once more until the breach, which you all know from Henry V. It's being held, this conference is being held in the context of a strong commitment by the opposition party, by the leader of the opposition and his party, which may well take government next year, a very strong commitment, not only towards turning Australia into some form of politicians' republic, but also doing it in a way which circumvents and undermines the Constitution and the constitutional intention of the founders. Because what is being proposed is not that they go to a second referendum, the reason being they know they would go down even bigger than they did in 1999. Why they are doing it in a circumvented way to undermine the constitutional intention is to do it through a series of votes outside of the constitutional intention. Now it's all right, it's perfectly all right for governments to consult the people and to do it by way of plebiscites, if they wish. There can be no objection to that. But when the Constitution itself sets out precisely, and for the time it was adopted, radically, to involve the people in the decision-making in any constitutional change, this is what is being proposed, and this is unacceptable, completely unacceptable, and something about which we must protest.
Yes, yeah.
Because there will be, it seems, two plebiscites. The first plebiscite, are you in favour of Australia becoming a republic? And then it goes on to a fraudulent edition. Are you in favour of Australia becoming a republic with an Australian head of state, knowing full well that Mr. Shorten was a minister in governments which regularly and frequently called the Governor-General the Australian head of state? That will be the very first plebiscite. The second plebiscite will be, if the first passes, on the form of republic. There is then to be some form of convention, it seems. It can be guaranteed not to be elected because that would produce the result, or could produce the result not wanted. And this will be followed eventually by a referendum. They are adopting the theme adopted in Brussels when the European Union found, to their great surprise, that some of the countries were voting against what they were proposing. And one of the Eurocrats famously said, and this has been repeated over and over, the people must keep on voting until they get it right. The people must keep on voting until they get it right. And this is the attitude that Mr. Shorten is adopting. And this is no objection. This is no argument for one side of politics. Because all of the great leaders of the Australian Labor Party have been constitutional monarchists. From Fisher to Scullin, down to Curtin, down to Chifley, to Dr. H.V. Evatt, all of the great leaders, and the former Lord Mayor of Sydney, Doug Sutherland, who could well have been another Premier or Prime Minister. All of the great leaders of the Australian Labor Party, like all of the great leaders of the Liberal Party, have been constitutional monarchists. I think it's impossible to name one who has not been a constitutional monarchist. This is not anti-Labor, it is against the enunciated policy of the opposition. This plebiscite will be even worse than an attempt to circumvent the Constitution, because it is an invitation to the people of Australia to give a vote of no confidence in the Constitution, one of the most successful constitutions in all the world, an invitation to give a vote of no confidence in that Constitution without there being any alternative on the table. This is an outrageous, almost criminal proposition which must be resisted, which must be exposed, And that is what we hope to do, and that is what our campaign will do. And hence what we are doing today. And Australians for Constitutional Monarchy, which was the engine room of the campaign, beginning with Lloyd Waddy and others. And in the actual referendum campaign, the engine room which every day met in a national meeting to work out how the campaign would be run. Australians for Constitutional Monarchy has obviously to revive itself and to ensure, since we know how to campaign, that we win this coming campaign.